Number one, the first thing from my side, I don't know, but we'll get his side of the story. But from my side, the first thing that would make Floyd come to the conclusion of leaving the EFF, number one, there is no longer any room for Floyd to grow in the EFF. You know, the EFF is an organization right now. It's an organization. It's a full-fledged, full-blown organization. It's been around for 10 years. It's been around for 10 years. And the tragedy of the relationship between Julius and Floyd is that the man who is known as the face of the EFF is Julius Malema. And even Floyd, even Floyd also in his own right. But their leadership styles are not the same. I would consider Floyd Shivambu as an administrator leader. He's that man who will administrate and make sure, and you know, as the rumors are going around, that he's the brains of the EFF. He's that man who's got the administrative party. He's a think tank. He's a powerhouse. He's a powerhouse. Then we've got Julius Malema, whom I will call the cheerleader leader. The cheerleader leader. He's that man who can excite a crowd. He's that man who can go into a place and excite a crowd and get people excited to follow a cause. Because it's because of that leadership style that I've enjoyed and I've loved watching him and I've watched him grow the EFF. The both of them. We're saying that number one, Floyd is an administrator leader, and then number two, Julius Malema is a cheerleader leader. Now, these two work together perfectly together. These types of a leader, an administrator and a cheerleader, they work together nicely as leaders. That's why they ended up co-founding. The EFF. But the tragedy comes when either the administrator or the cheerleader has gotten to a point in their life that they are seeking for more room for growth. And this is where the first thing that makes sense for me why Floyd would leave the EFF is that he wants to grow. I mean, he's a think tank. He's constantly excited by the desire to grow, to push himself more than or wherever he is. That's why he's got all these masters and he's pursuing academic excellence, because his desire, or one of his core values, I would assume, is the desire to grow. And in the EFF, in the presence of Julius Malema, there will no longer be any room for Floyd to grow. There will no longer be any room in the EFF for Floyd to grow as long as Julius Malema is there. As long as Julius Malema is there as the leader of the EFF, because Floyd will forever be in the shadow. He will forever be in the shadow of Julius Malema. That is the tragedy. He will forever be in the shadow of Julius Malema because, number one, whenever he would compete, or if he was to compete for the highest office, which is to become the president of the EFF, he will have to go up against his friend, who is a cheerleader leader. And you know, his track record speaks for itself. You know, he has been winning the support from when he was still in the ANC. That's why he was even if it wasn't that he was expelled, I can beyond any reasonable doubt say that he would be the president of the ANC, or he would be the best candidate to become the president of the ANC. But unfortunately, both him and Floyd, they destroyed the ANC, and the ANC is no longer the party that it used to be. I mean, even for me personally, I'm no longer excited by the ANC. The leadership sphere, or what the ANC has become, it has become an organization whose interest is no longer in the people. And if the two of them were still in the ANC, beyond any reasonable doubt, Julius Malema would be the man who would either be president or who would be the next candidate to be president, because of his leadership style. And him and Floyd, they complement each other. I said, number one, there's no longer room for Floyd to grow in the EFF because he will forever be in the shadow. I mean, if they were to go and compete for the highest office, without any reasonable doubt or any form of contradiction, I can safely say that Julius Malema would win. Julius Malema would win. And the competition for Floyd to be able to win, it would get to a point where the competition would get so fierce and ruthless that the friendship would no longer be the same after the contestation of the highest office. So I think that for this reason, if the reason to leave the EFF is for the pursuit of growth, then Floyd definitely made the right move, because he could no longer grow. And then the only way, or the only way that Floyd would become the president or the commander-in-chief of the EFF would be for Julius Malema to step aside and step down as president. And for me, when I heard the news, what really made me emotional is that I thought if they were going to have a robust discussion about this, the conclusion that Julius Malema would reach would be that I'm going to step down. I'm going to step down as the president, or I will not raise my hand up to contest or to avail myself for the contestation of president, so that I will make way for my friend. That was the best way. But it's also not the best way, because even if Julius Malema would raise his hand and say, I am no longer putting my hand in the ring, even if Floyd becomes the president of the EFF, there will always be the shadow of Julius Malema as the leader that will be haunting the EFF. That will be haunting the EFF, and people will always compare the two of them and say, oh no man, whether it's us, the voters, or even they themselves as the members, they will always say, oh no man, you know, because he's a think tank, his leadership style is not the same. He's a powerhouse. Floyd is a powerhouse that, yeah, when it comes to connecting with the normal masses, and it's one of the complaints that people have been complaining about, or speculating that could have been the cause. Because if you are going into battle and you want someone to rally up the people, you need Julius Malema. But if you need someone to think and come up with strategy, you need Floyd. That's why I'm saying that the two of them work together nicely. But like I'm saying, even if Floyd was to contest and Julius Malema was to step down, it will still be that case of people always saying that, yeah, we wish that he was like Malema. And yeah, that's why I'm saying that, number one, what makes sense for me for the departure is the pursuit of growth. Because in the EFF, Floyd would not grow. He would not grow because he will forever be in the shadow of Julius Malema and his leadership. Because when it comes to rallying people behind, a cheerleading leader is the man that you need when you're going to war, or when you go into battle. That is the first reason.